There's no one here to do it for me, so I'll have to introduce myself.
His Celestial Eminence, the Species Development Monitor.
I had to do it that way. I'd feel silly referring to myself as his anything. My friends call me Seymour. It's my job to check out how the various life forms in this solar system are getting on with it, forming their lives, that is. I've been watching humans since all they could say was grunt, and none of them had any idea how to spell it. They got interesting when they started to use their thumbs. Because of their thumbs, they can use tools. Because they can use tools and can think and talk, they can extend their senses, control their environment, and increase in power and sophistication. I'm particularly interested in the way these humans raise their replacements, their young, that is. I've watched them evolve some great education and training systems for their young. Great, except for one thing. As they became more organized, the living houses and the learning houses became more separate. There used to be no problem. The parents were the teachers, but it's grown so specialized that now kids have to relate to two entirely different worlds. Most of the grown ones seem to think that at home, emotional and social development occur, while school is the only place for learning intellectual and physical skills.
Well, I expect my children to be able to come away from school with a basic knowledge of reading, writing, arithmetic.
Well, I think the basic things like reading, language, writing, to write, so, it's legible. Maths.
Well, I expect them to learn the basics, reading and writing and arithmetic.
And also now I think we have to prepare them for the computer age.
The usual things, reading, writing, arithmetic, manners.
To socialise with other children, and then when they come to school, the basic subjects, especially the reading, writing and the arithmetic and neatness in book work.
I expect them to develop, social and life skills, really.
At home, we aim to teach them the values of a family life.
Basically manners, to respect their teachers and things like that.
At home, I think they learn how to treat other people, teachers, children, friends. They learn patience and understanding.
Well, I hope that they learn at home manners.
Morals, manners, a lot of manners. Allow him to learn to respect his elders. Oh, just love. Love and security, I'd say, are the main things that they learn at home.
Well, perhaps I've oversimplified it a bit, but not by much. I've noticed that because of this attitude, parents often miss out on everyday opportunities to help with the development their young are getting at school.
Hello, Gavin. Hello, Heidi. What did you do at school today?
Nothing much.
Now, just hold it there for a moment. Now, what they really mean is we did nothing world-shattering, but in fact, they've done a great deal. What comes out of that bag probably holds the key to what nothing much actually means. Hey, weren't you listening? I don't normally like to interfere, but to show you what I mean.
I like this, Gavin. You seem to enjoy doing this sort of thing.
Yes, I do.
That's it. Positive and encouraging. Talking. Talking is a tool for making relationships, and they know that home is not just a house. Home means people and relationships. I hope they don't forget that talking means listening too. The young ones learn language through contact with all the parts of their environment, and here they're looking at a familiar place and writing about it in an imaginative way.
I'm going to make it very hard for you today and ask you to paint me a picture with words. Not a lot of words, though. Just a few. So that because you can only use a few words, you've really got to choose the very best ones. Okay?
Right.
You can, and you've got to have a special form.
I like that. That's a good one. Confine them to just a few words, and they have to stretch their minds to get as much as they can of an image covered by each word.
One really good word at the end. Choose something that you can see or feel that catches your attention, and try to write about that. Paint me a picture of that. Right?
Words are being checked against images. Language being used now will help later language development.
Would you like to listen to Chris's second one? I think this is rather interesting.
Thinking and imagining is a personal thing. The young ones will share if they know the listener is receptive.
Flower in the ground, dying.
They are too, because they haven't been watered for ages. Gavin, can we hear yours?
Fly in the garbage, scavenging.
Oh, that's very good. Bit yucky, isn't it? Dad came in the door first, panting and gasping. Oh, if I don't put this down, I'll bust, he said. I'm just about cooted. Go easy, I said. Too late. He went across the kitchen floor on one foot. The other leg raised gratefully behind him like a fairy on a Christmas tree. And he fetched up against the table, from which he hung by his chin for a few seconds before subsiding to the floor in an untidy heap, well mixed with bacon, tins of fruit salad, and a shoulder of mutton. How could you be so clumsy? Said Mum from the door. Then it was her turn.
Correctness of the language is not so important as the quality of the language used. Is that clear? But what I mean is they need to get experience in the use of language, and their skills of reading and writing will follow more easily.
I've got some gear here that we're going to use to make some shapes. How would you like to make just the outline of a pyramid using these dowels? Would you like to have a go at that?
They aren't just playing around. This is important. Learning happens when the young ones are interested. Their interest can be sparked if they're given lots of first-hand experiences.
Oh, no. He's fallen on the end of the room.
And so what we'll do is we'll join them up here. So that it doesn't collapse. Now, underneath the diagram, we've got the basic pyramid triangle. And on top of that, we've got what this new pyramid is going to look like.
This isn't simply an exercise. They are improving their ability to observe, interpret, and see the order of things in their environment as they think and talk about it.
We've got a triangle, don't forget. You've got to make a triangle. Oh, I'll hold that for you, Matt.
Right.
Here it is.
Thank you. If you like, I'll help.
Like
They all have. Oh, they've all got there. Some have been broken. Bring it out. Right. I think I better hop out of the way. Let's just have a look. Yes. Well, suddenly it all appears, doesn't it?
And parents, too, can get involved in all sorts of ways through sharing experiences with their young and talking about them.
Right, Gavin, let's see how much water it is.
3 drops into the carton. 1, 2, 3. That's right. The 4 tomato plants, right?
You change your mind now, you think about 8. Are you only thinking of the half, were you? Right.
Don't forget you've got to equal it out, Heidi, between the 4 plants.
Of course, it's not only the very young ones who need to talk with their parents. The nearly grown ones need it too.
Tell me when. Out of the half bucket of water so far, Gavin, how many litres have we used up?
3.
But how many more do you think there will be?
About 2.
Did you notice that young one is being asked to speculate? The what-if question extends his thinking too.
Tell you what, I spilt some here, haven't I? I think you better pour the next one, eh?
I come just about 5 days a week to do one thing or another, helping with the children. Daughter in grade 4 and one in grade 6. And I come and help where I can there and bring my little girl with me, and she feels at home here. She starts school here next year and she'll be comfortable here because she knows her way around the school. And my husband comes and helps out with excursions, and the children enjoy him having a father come and not just mothers all the time. I can cope better at home with my children. I can understand them better.
100 years ago, all the sheep used to get shorn with these. They didn't have machines for doing them then. And even today, some sheep, very valuable sheep, are shorn with the hand blades because you're less likely to injure a sheep, you're less likely to cut them. And when you shear
Activities
them,
like this
it doesn't shear
open the children's eyes to the skills, methods and products of yesteryear and develop in them a sense of history, and they see for the first time things that until now they have only heard about.
Milk tastes like turnip. And turnip milk is not very nice.
Would you be rather doing this or playing outside when you got home from school? Someone else can have a turn now, man. Give someone else a go.
Want another slice of turnip? Come on. Well, Bridie can the least two. Round the head, Bridie. Better from that angle. Now,
I should ask Sister Sharon how many cups of flour it takes to make a loaf of bread.
Yes, that's a good move. There's double value there.
Well, I suppose in the kitchen you'd have to have a lot, wouldn't you? You'd have to have a couple on the table, your turn, a couple on the dresser, and I suppose everywhere you walked. If you're going up the passage, you'd have to take another one in up the passage with you. I think you'd have to have a lot. That 12 going all the time in a house.
In the average size house.
The average size house.
Oh, mine's very big.
Your turn.
Get your family newsletter for this month. Got different covers on them. All contain the same information.
The news sheets some schools send out can be pretty good communicators too. They need to be friendly, written in simple language, no jargon, and they should tell parents what is going on. Some schools have decided to get more in them from the young ones, like little notes about what's fun at school or even what's hard. It's an opportunity to get them to say what they think. It helps develop their thinking skills as well as their communication skills.
Oops, here we are.
I'm so pleased with him. Well done. Bill Spiegel. Anyway, Nigel, can you read that?
Yeah.
You can read that to me now.
Dear Mrs. Davidson, Nigel had a splendid day today.
Now that's a good example of positive reaction and encouragement. That sort of thing does more good than all the criticism in the universe.
I was approached at school by the teachers if Miriam and I would host a kitchen conference in our home and invite interested parents and neighbours in.
Well, there's about 7 parents arrived and 2 teachers.
They asked questions, what does the school do for your children? What do you expect of the school? What changes are there needed in the school and why these changes were necessary? And those sort of questions generated quite a few answers and a very interesting discussion. I think everyone has benefited from it since.
Well, the results of the kitchen conferences were a great amount of information that we collected from parents, as you can see here. It's quite a lot. And from that information that we collected from parents, we then had to collate it all to find out what were the important things that parents felt that the school could be doing for their children. And so some of these were providing better food for their children through the canteen, the provision of the computer, and another part of it was a life enrichment program so that children could be made more aware of life outside of their community, broadening their horizons and giving them an idea of more career opportunities. In fact, one of the most wonderful things that happened, that the parents and the teachers became very involved with each other, and from this we feel that the children have benefited greatly.
Well, look at that. That's very educational. You know, it's been quite a few generations since my lot have had bodies at all to speak of or to speak with. But for humans, moving it about like this is a very valuable exercise, and not just for the exercise. At the same time, the big ones are gaining confidence in what is usually their offspring's environment, and they're sharing an experience. The young here are refining their physical coordination. They're using movement as another form of language, and they're discovering themselves as objects in space. Well, not the way I'm an object in space. They're also learning to work together and to form friendships and relationships. Well, school is not just a place, it's a set of relationships. By the time the young ones have grown for 9 or 10 years, they've developed some ability to make choices. They are influenced by their home, the media, their friends, and their school, but they still need the grown ones to help them make sense of it all. Oh, I know they're all different, but by and large, taking a general overview of the young in what humans call the civilized world, they take notice of what comes to them through the electric media. And that includes not just language, but also pre-packed images of values and moral attitudes.
You all right, love? I'm sure. Come on, Gavin and Heidi, off to bed now. That's not suitable for you. Yes, it may be interesting, but it's not the sort of thing you should be watching.
Now, it's not good enough just to cut down on their media intake. The young ones would probably resent that, listen to the music somewhere else and pick up scrambled second-hand versions of what they missed on TV from the other young ones. It would be better if the adults would watch what their children are watching.
What are you watching on the television?
A movie.
A movie? Do you know what it's called?
No, but I know what it's about.
Oh, can you tell me what it's about?
It's about this girl who loves a boy.
The girl that loves the boy. And how about you, Gavin?
The girl's father, well, he's a wife basher.
He's a wife
So
basher?
that they can talk about it, explain where necessary, and make sure that children are not getting the wrong message. This is one way of ensuring that their offspring become friends, and not young strangers.
Problems, misunderstanding.
Humans seem to have a different idea now of what teaching means. They know that it's not something you do to a child as it was in the old days. It should be something you share with children in helping them to learn. The young ones are learning wherever they are and whatever they're doing. They're learning in school and they're learning at home. Any other human they come in contact with is a source of learning for the young ones. We can see that the learning houses and the living houses are getting together with some success. They're making life for their young ones more relevant to the rest of their world. The grown ones who choose to be teachers have developed a lot in the last decade. They understand better how the learning process works for the young ones. And now that they are sharing this understanding and information with parents and other adults, all humans can benefit, especially the young ones. Well, it's good to know that some see more clearly. This last quarter of the 20th century looks like being very tricky for the humans. Their world is changing very fast, but the home and the school still share the responsibility for raising their young ones, and that's always been a tricky business. The humans are going to need fully developed replacements to start their next century with. And unless they get it together, home and school that is, I could end up with no species to monitor. I could even be out of a job.